Good morning, good afternoon, or good night. Whenever you are listening to this podcast, this is a Freestyle Friday because I am just winging it and I'm going to talk about a recent experience I had. And this is going to come down to communication with your partner. This is an area I'm always trying to work on and something I've noticed over the course of my life change a lot. So if you're currently in a relationship or even if you're single, this episode is going to help you improve your communication, the way you react, how you feel your emotions, and ultimately your well-being. So let's get right into it. Welcome to the What's Eating You podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, and I'm a psychologist, published author, and public speaker here to educate and validate. Enjoy the show. If you're new here, welcome. Let me know if you are new. Let me know if you enjoy these episodes. Just send me a DM on Instagram or tag me, whatever you like. I noticed we got 2 new reviews. Thank you so much for clicking the star on Spotify. I really appreciate it. And if you're listening on Spotify, please just scroll down, tap the star, and leave your review. I'll be forever grateful. So I'm a clinical psychologist, but I am not perfect by any means. I have my own ups and downs. I have my own ineffective communication moments. I have reactivity, but I have worked really hard to implement my own strategies to try to improve my own life. And it does work. And gosh, it's hard. One thing I've learned, it's so easy to tell clients and tell people what to do. Like when you're feeling emotional and when you're feeling reactive, just stop and take 3 deep breaths. I know how hard this is in the moment because I try it. I try to do what I recommend to my clients because I want to prove that they are effective and that it does work. And if I'm not practicing what I'm preaching, then who am I, right? So what happened basically is I'm in a relationship. We've been together for 3 years now, and over 3 years, and it's wonderful. It's great. I'm so grateful. I'm so lucky. I'm so blessed. He is amazing. We get on really well, and we have hardly had any fights. We don't have many fights. We don't have any disagreement. We resolve things really quickly, and our repair is very timely. One thing I really don't believe in relationships is doing the silent treatment, not speaking for periods of time. This just exacerbates things and makes it worse. What I'm really big on is early and quick reparation. Every couple's going to have disagreements. It's fine to disagree on something, but yelling and screaming and arguing, that's not okay. That's not okay. So the first thing you want to do is identify if you are a screamer, if you are a yeller, if you are a reactor, and you have to work on that yourself. That's not something your partner can control for you. That's not something your partner can manage for you. Now, I used to be very reactive, and that's actually changed in this relationship because the man I'm with is very calm, he's very grounded, and he doesn't react to me. So when I have my little moments, when I have my little outbursts, he just stands there. He stands there, he lets me have it, and then I realize, oh my gosh, okay, I'm reacting. I need to stop doing that. But now, before I even get to that point, I identify when I'm emotionally dysregulated. So this episode is going to start with a story. It's going to talk about how to not be reactive and then how to communicate effectively. So a shorty but a goodie, and this is based in real life experience. So the first thing is we have lots of systems in our house and home which just make things flow and work. So for example, we just do things for each other. So if I see the dishwasher is full, I empty it. He sees the dishwasher is full, he empties it. And this system has just been so effective and just flown seamlessly and makes our lives so easy. One thing I've noticed is when my partner does have a lot on and he is cognitively overloaded, which means he's got a lot of things to think about, as we all do, he's not very present. And if I speak to him, sometimes I don't get a response or sometimes it's a delayed response. And I do this too, and I know how frustrating it can be. It's as though you're talking to a brick wall. And I know he doesn't mean it. I know he's trying to hustle hard for our family. I know he's balancing a lot of different elements of his life, but I can't help but feel annoyed when it happens. And as a result of that cognitive overload, things that he normally does that makes our life easier are getting overlooked or forgotten, even if he's mentioned it. So for example, I said, "Hun, can you put the dishwasher on before you come to bed?" Yep, cool. Wake up, washer's not on. And it's not the dishwasher. I couldn't give a damn if the dishwasher was on or not. I can press the button. I acknowledge that. And many times I will just press the button. I'm like, oh, he probably was stressed, or he probably was tired. So that's the first thing, is empathy. If your partner's not doing what you want them to do, have empathy. What's going on for them? And I know how hard this is when you're in your own emotion, but empathy. And I thought, you know what? This isn't like him. There's probably stuff going on. There's a part of me that really wants to be like, why didn't you put the dishwasher on? And then I rephrased that and I thought, you know what, Steph, don't accuse, just ask. Don't accuse, just ask. And I asked him, I said, hey, is there a reason that you didn't put the dishwasher on last night? And he just said, I forgot. And I said, oh, did you recall that conversation where I asked you to do it because you said yes? And he said, no, I don't remember that conversation. And that just escalated me even more, because it was a conversation, and it just goes to show that he wasn't present. Now, there is a part of me that wanted to react. There is a part of me that wanted to get upset. There is a part of me that wanted to just say all sorts of things. And I recognize that part of me. And this is a fiery part of me. I don't know where it came from. I don't know if it came from my Greek heritage, if it came from my mum, if it came from shutting down emotions when I had an eating disorder. But there is a part of me that is reactive. So what I do is I acknowledge that part. And if I'm feeling reactive, I don't take any action. So the first step is to know, what are your signs when you feel reactive? So for me, I get hot, I feel angry, I just want to blah, 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 I just want to yell, I just want to say things. I feel really disappointed, I feel really hurt, I feel upset. So I decided to go for a walk, because what I know is no constructive conversation is going to come out of reactivity, right? You're just going to get upset. You're just going to get overwhelmed. You're going to say stuff you regret. So if you are in reactive mind, identify what your signs are of reactive mind. And usually you're in reactive mind where you're not open to hearing another person. You're not open to listening. You're not open to a conversation. You're just a one-way bull and you just want to charge. So if you're feeling like that, just take a step back and go and do something. So I went for a walk and I went and sat on the beach. And at this time, he was trying to ring me. He was messaging me. He's like, what's wrong? And I didn't answer in that moment because I was still upset. And I thought, Steph, gather your thoughts. What is your desired outcome? Why is this bothering you so much? So do your own reflection before you go charging at the other person, before you go communicating with them. Just do your own reflection. And you can just say to them, hey, I'm feeling upset. I'll message you back in a moment. Yeah, or hey, I'm just gathering my thoughts. I'll message you back in a moment. And what it really came down to for me is it's been a bit of a theme for me. Now, my partner is very attentive. He's very validating. He's wonderful. But like I said, when he gets overwhelmed, he can just not be present. And what it has triggered in me is it's highlighted the fact that since moving to Queensland, I don't have a lot of connections around me that I used to have. So if you don't know, I came from a big Greek family. I've lived at home for many years with my family. I really only permanently moved out probably in 2021. And before then, I was around people, my sister's kids, my mum, my dad. It was always someone to talk to. And then after that, I lived on a really busy street in Melbourne. I lived in a really amazing building. This building had concierge that were like, morning, da-da-da-da. You would see someone every day. You'd see people walking their dogs. My bestie lived in the building and I was like, hey, babes, let's go grab coffee. Yeah, we would always talk, da-da. I took that for granted. I didn't realize how beneficial my connections were for my mental health. And you read these books. There's a book on depression called Connections, Broken Connections. I'm not sure if that's the name, but it's something Connections. And it talks about how loneliness is such a big factor in depression and in your mental health. And even the longest study on happiness found that your relationships and your connections are one of the biggest factors in your happiness. And I've gone from this full on, and it wasn't even like I was extremely social. I always had things on because I used to do a lot of food blogging, but I went from that to coming to Queensland. And don't get me wrong, I love it here. I love the weather. I do have some really nice people around me that I'm grateful for, but I work from home. I do a lot of things on my own. That's why I joined F45 for some connection and community. But you need connection and community. You need people to talk to. You need that. And then for me, when I was by myself and then my partner would come home and he wouldn't be present, I'm just like, what the hell? Am I invisible? What is going on? So what it sparked in me was this core belief that I talk about a lot, that like no one cares and he doesn't care about me and what's the point of this, and maybe he doesn't like me. And I'm here to tell you that even the most confident, successful, happy women have these moments, because when you're in a state of emotional mind, it just brings up all this stuff that you know logically is not true because you're in another part of your brain, and that part of your brain is trying to protect you. Number 1, notice if you're getting reactive, stop, leave the situation and gather your thoughts before you communicate with your partner. When you do your reflection, number 2, I want you to ask yourself, what am I thinking and feeling? Why is this upsetting me so much? And for me, it wasn't even the dishes. It was the fact that I'm feeling a little bit isolated. I'm feeling a little bit alone. We hadn't done anything for a long time. Normally, we always have a weekend plan. And I felt frustrated that he hadn't planned something on the weekend. And it ended up being a miscommunication. I had a friend here and he thought we were going to do something together. But what I really love about him and I appreciate about him is he's always willing to listen and take on feedback, right? Even though he won't give me feedback, I give feedback to myself, right? And I know I can project my unrelenting high standards onto other people, and I'm aware of that. But I had a choice yesterday. I could either stay upset the whole day and do nothing, because my thoughts were this: everything's closed, there's no point going out, the day's ruined, another weekend, we don't have plans, da-da-da-da. And he was talking to me, he's like, Steph, he said, you've got a choice. You can sit here and be upset all day, or we can go do something. I know it's not perfect. I know it's not what you wanted. I know you're upset that the places you wanted to go have shut. And I didn't feel like it. I didn't want to, but my brain knew, it's like, Steph, move towards reparation. I know you feel upset. I know you want to wallow here, but there's an opportunity here to repair, and there's an opportunity to do something. So we went and got acai bowls, and 2 minutes later, it started pouring freaking rain. All I wanted to do was an activity in the sun. That's all I wanted to do. And then it starts pouring rain. And look, part of me wanted to use ammo. Part of me wanted to be like, see, if we did this earlier, it wouldn't have rained. See, if you just thought about this earlier. And I wanted to say that. I wanted to do all that, but I didn't, because I want you to ask yourself, number 3, when you're in a conversation with someone, is what I'm wanting to say effective to my desired goal? Would being critical of the past, which we cannot change, improve our future? And the answer was no. Instead, I tried to be in the moment, and I was like, oh, well, it rained. Doesn't matter. It's okay. I'm really enjoying this. Thank you for the acai bowl. Thank you for making this plan. And this morning was beautiful. He sent me a really beautiful message and said, look, I want to make sure we spend time together. I know it's important to you. I'm sorry I've been overwhelmed. And the funny thing was, the dishwasher thing happened last night again, and I wanted to message him and say, is there a reason you didn't put the dishwasher on? But I just thought, it's okay, Steph. It's not, you know what? He's overwhelmed. Just leave him. Just put the dishwasher on. It's not a big deal. And instead what I did was, we have a whiteboard on the fridge that we see every day, and I wrote nighttime, dishwasher, morning, dishes. That's all I did. I just left it at that. I stacked the dishwasher, I put it on, and I went about my day, and he texted me and he goes, I'm so sorry about the dishes. He said, I'll make sure that I put it on at night. So see, I didn't have to react and have a huge response in order for him to do what I wanted. Sometimes we need to lead by example in our relationships, and we need to lead by example in our communication style. So we can even say, I'm feeling really hurt, I'm feeling really disappointed, and I know that I may be projecting unrealistic standards, but this is how I feel, and this is what I really want us to work on together. Remember, you're on the same team. You're here to improve your relationship. So before I go, I'll leave you with these nuggets of gold. 1, work on your own emotional reactivity. If you're a reactive person, tap into that and start to take a break, go for a walk, do some breaths, and write down what's really bothering you, because the work is within you. The work's not on your partner to heal you. The work is not on your partner to manage your reactivity. That's on you. When you're calm, come to your partner and work as a team to establish what happened. Why did it trigger you? What hurt you so much? What hurt them so much? And then finally, how can you both work together to prevent this happening in the future? So for us, it was Sunday is going to be our day. No work. Sunday is going to be our day to spend together doing an activity. It doesn't have to be something expensive. We can go to the beach. We live across the road from the beach and we never go. So I feel very blessed and lucky that we're both responsive people. And that's the thing. You need someone who's on the same team as you, on the same page as you. So if you don't have that, you've also got to reflect on that. If you enjoyed this little snippet episode, do let me know, leave a review, and be sure to tune in for the next one. See you soon. Bye. Thank you for listening to today's episode. I am truly grateful for you being here. If you got something out of today's show, please take a moment to leave a rating or review. To access more resources or support, check out the show notes below. See you next time.